The most valuable step we can take is to provide context, helping us understand the motive behind this ancient crime. The evidence suggests this individual was carefully navigating a complex political and religious landscape. Imagine capturing the turmoil of ancient Egypt in a sample no larger than a pinhead. Despite being over 3,000 years old, modern forensic techniques allow us to uncover incredible insights, though it's far from a straightforward task. In fact, it often feels like a delicate balancing act between discovery and preservation. Yet, this find is thrilling, an extraordinary milestone in experimental archaeology. At Bolton Museum in northern England lies a remarkable mummy, partially unwrapped but stunningly preserved after 3 millennia. Her identity and cause of death remain a mystery, shrouded in the sands of time. This mummy is a highlight of the Egyptian gallery, alongside her intricately adorned coffin, which captivates visitors with its beauty and craftsmanship. Careful study reveals the coffin's owner, Tehennet, a high-status woman titled Lady of the House, Enchantress of Amunias-Re, King of the Gods. Her name and title are inscribed, and the art depicts her making offerings to the gods. However, there's an odd detail. The coffin seems too small for its occupant, raising immediate suspicions. Could it be an error, or does it hint at something more sinister? Leading this intriguing investigation is Dr. Joanne Fletcher, one of Britain's top Egyptologists and a globally recognized expert on mummies. Her mission is to breathe life into Tehennet's story and uncover the truth behind her death. Forensic examination begins with the smallest details, like the perfectly preserved earlobe and the unusual alignment of her teeth, which may hold vital clues. Dr. Fletcher's team is among the best in the field, with elite specialists bringing diverse expertise to this ancient puzzle. Dr. Stephen Buckley, a pioneering archaeological chemist, applies advanced chemical techniques to analyze substances in and around the mummy. Duncan Lees, a forensic archaeologist, contributes cutting-edge survey methods honed from investigating modern crime scenes. Jill Scott, an Egyptologist specializing in mummy preservation, uses her extensive knowledge to dig deep into the archives for critical background information. Together, this world-class team faces an immense challenge. With minimal clues, they will need every tool and skill at their disposal to unravel the mystery of Tehennet's life and death. The investigation is on. Dr. Fletcher's initial briefing provides the team with a crucial starting point for their investigation. The coffin, a subject of extensive academic study over the years, offers plenty of insight into the woman it was crafted for. Vibrant with intricate colors, it tells the story of a high-status priestess. However, one glaring anomaly is immediately apparent. There's no way her body would have fit comfortably within the coffin when fully wrapped. Evidence of paint damage along the shoulders of the coffin suggests that the body had to be squeezed in, raising immediate suspicions. Egyptian mummies were typically encased in layers of linen, sometimes totaling over 250 square meters. The sheer size of the mummy compared to the coffin indicates that something is amiss. But the team will need more than this clue to solve the mystery. Further examination reveals a distinct overjet in the mummy's teeth, a trait where the upper teeth protrude significantly over the lower set. This is a fascinating find, as similar dental features have been documented among the royal mummies of the New Kingdom. Could this connection suggest a royal lineage? For the ancient Egyptians, every aspect of death held profound significance. The team knows they must scrutinize every detail, as even a minor mark on the mummy's face might hold the key to unraveling her story. Dr. Fletcher notes pockmarks on the mummy's skin, possibly remnants of the embalming process or a sign of illness. Could this be linked to diseases like smallpox, speculated to have afflicted mummies like Ramses V? The team treads carefully. The mummy is incredibly fragile, and any mishandling could compromise vital evidence. Dr. Stephen Buckley, an expert in archaeological chemistry, takes the lead in collecting chemical samples. Every substance has its unique chemical fingerprint, and Stephen's analysis of embalming materials could shed light on trade routes, religious practices, and even political dynamics in ancient Egypt. Identifying the chemical mix might also help establish a precise timeline for the mummy's life and death. Meanwhile, Dr. Fletcher enlists hieroglyphics expert Alan Fildes to analyze the inscriptions on the coffin. The hieroglyphs identify the mummy as Nebet Per, a lady of the house, and a chantress of Ammonius Ure, roles of immense social prestige. As a singer at the Karnak temple, she likely performed sacred rituals with a sistrum, a ceremonial rattle. These details reveal her significant status in society, as only the elite were granted such access to temples. Yet, despite the wealth of information about her life, the cause of her death remains elusive. To uncover more, Dr. Fletcher turns to Professor Don Brothwell, a renowned paleopathologist. His expertise spans investigations from mass graves to ancient bog bodies. Using full-body X-ray scans, he will examine the mummy's lower body for hidden injuries or abnormalities that could explain her death. With every piece of evidence, the team edges closer to solving this ancient enigma, piecing together a life lived in privilege and a death still shrouded in mystery. At the base of the spine, the team identifies material within the abdominal cavity, a curious find that hints at further secrets yet to be revealed. The mummy's prominent upper teeth and minimal were suggest a high-status diet of soft foods, indicating the individual was under 30 years old at the time of death. This revelation paints a picture of a young person struck down in their prime, adding a poignant layer to the investigation. However, the X-rays soon unveil a shocking twist. A deposit at the back of the skull appears to have been introduced via the nasal cavity, a common feature of ancient embalming practices. When the team examines the pelvic and femoral structure, the evidence becomes undeniable. This individual was not female, but a slender-built male. This bombshell discovery forces the team to rethink everything they thought they knew about the mummy. The realization that the mummy is male offers a plausible explanation for the ill-fitting coffin. It seems this was not the coffin's original occupant, rendering all the information from its inscriptions irrelevant. The team finds themselves back at square one, their initial assumptions overturned. To uncover new insights, Egyptologist Jill Scott turns to modern dental medicine. She seeks the expertise of orthodontic consultant Jay Kindlein, hoping that advancements in dental science can reveal more about the mummy's identity and life. The mystery deepens as the investigation takes an unexpected turn, leaving the team with a renewed sense of purpose to solve this ancient enigma. The mummy exhibits a striking combination of facial features: prominent upper front teeth and a retruded lower jaw, where the lower jaw is set back relative to the rest of the face. This unusual combination of deformities would have presented significant challenges in daily life. Basic tasks like eating would have been particularly difficult. For instance, the individual would have struggled to bite into hard foods like apples or, hypothetically, sandwiches if they existed in ancient Egypt. Instead, they likely had to chop food into smaller pieces before eating. Even speaking would have been affected. Many sounds, especially plosives that require the lips to press together, would have been challenging to produce. It's possible that communication was hindered, painting a picture of someone who faced significant physical obstacles in everyday life. However, what initially seems like a series of misfortunes may hint at a different story. The distinctiveness of the mummy's facial structure suggests a possible familial trait, perhaps even a hereditary condition. A glance at ancient Egyptian pharaohs' family records reveals similar facial profiles, indicating that these features were passed down through generations, potentially linking the mummy to a royal bloodline. If this condition was hereditary, it's likely the individual's parents shared a similar facial profile. Modern orthodontic parallels provide an intriguing perspective. As families seek treatment for children with similar traits, the resemblance between parents and children often hints at how these features develop over time. In the mummy's case, without modern intervention, his distinctive appearance would have remained unchanged, offering a fascinating glimpse into his ancestry and possibly his social status. Could his physical challenges, paradoxically, be a marker of royal lineage? The mystery deepens as the investigation continues. The team's investigation takes another intriguing turn as they delve into the markings on the mummy's face. Some experts have suggested that such features might indicate smallpox, a devastating disease responsible for countless deaths in the ancient world. However, Professor Don Brothwell's expertise quickly dispels this theory. He notes that similar markings have been observed in bog bodies and are more likely post-mortem effects caused by the drying process during mummification. With the possibility of a killer disease ruled out, attention shifts back to the puzzling bone fragments found within the skull. X-rays reveal the brain cavity is empty except for a deposit and small bone fragments at the back of the skull. These fragments could suggest a violent death, similar to the theories surrounding King Tutankhamun's demise, or they might simply be the result of the mummification process. To uncover the truth, the team decides to replicate the ancient technique of brain removal. This involved inserting a metal tool through the nasal cavity to liquefy and extract the brain. The experiment requires both ancient precision and modern strength to recreate the damage observed in the X-rays. At the same time, Dr. Stephen Buckley's chemical analysis offers breakthroughs of its own. Using GCMS, gas chromatography mass spectrometry, Stephen meticulously identifies organic compounds in embalming materials. Among these is thymol, a powerful antibacterial agent, confirming the embalmer's advanced understanding of preservation techniques. He also identifies a resin derived from a mountain conifer, suggesting it was sourced from high altitudes exposed to intense radiation. This finding hints at long-distance trade routes and the high cost of such materials, reinforcing the idea that the mummy belonged to someone of significant importance. As Stephen works to identify the mummy's status and origins, Joanne Fletcher focuses on reconstructing the possible cause of skull damage. Collaborating with metalworker Don Barker, the team creates replicas of ancient Egyptian embalming tools using both copper and iron. These tools, based on authentic designs, include a thin wire to mimic the whisking process used to liquefy the brain. The experiment will determine whether these implements could have caused the bone chips observed in the X-rays. Meanwhile, facial reconstruction specialist Stephanie Davy-Jow begins building a virtual model of the mummy's skull. By analyzing its shape, she estimates the individual's sex, age, and ethnic background. Using modern data to calculate skin depth, Stephanie brings the mummy's features to life, adding details such as eyes to create a visual representation of what he may have looked like in life. With multiple investigations underway, chemical analysis, facial reconstruction, and experimental archaeology, the team edges closer to solving the mysteries of this 3,000-year-old mummy. Each revelation provides another piece of the puzzle, bringing them closer to uncovering the story of who this young man was and how he met his end. The mummy's facial reconstruction reveals an unexpected detail. His eye sockets, or orbitals, are markedly asymmetrical. Combined with his deformed jaw and receding chin, these features add to his already extraordinary appearance. This asymmetry is also a hallmark of certain members of the 18th and 19th dynasty Egyptian royalty, suggesting a potential familial link. Piece by piece, the mummy's portrait emerges, a distinctive, though not conventionally attractive, figure who faced numerous physical challenges in life. As facial reconstruction progresses, the forensic analysis shifts focus to the mummy's cause of death. Joanne and Duncan conduct a bold experiment to determine if the bone fragments in the skull were caused by a fatal blow or the embalming process. With human volunteers understandably unavailable, the team uses a sheep's head, chosen for its similarities to a human skull. Ancient Egyptians believed the heart, not the brain, was the seat of thought and emotion. So brain removal was a pragmatic step to prevent decay. The process involved inserting a tool through the nasal cavity, breaking the nasal bone, and liquefying the brain for removal. The experiment, however, presents challenges. The copper tool bends under pressure, forcing the team to switch to a sturdier iron replica. With this tool, Duncan successfully removes brain tissue and produces bone fragments similar to those seen in the mummy's X-rays. This confirms that the fragments were a byproduct of embalming, ruling out a fatal blow as the cause of death. One mystery solved, the team turns their attention to the mummy's identity. Joanne examines the mummy's wrappings, which are of exceptionally fine linen. While most Egyptian mummies were wrapped in coarser, recycled materials, This linen's quality and multi-layered application suggest a high-status individual. Meanwhile, Stephen Buckley's chemical analysis uncovers intriguing results. Among the embalming materials are thymol, a powerful antibacterial, and pistachio resin, a rare and expensive substance used almost exclusively for royalty during the New Kingdom. These findings bolster the theory that the mummy belonged to someone of great importance. Stephen's analysis also reveals a fascinating political and religious nuance. The left side of the mummy's body is covered in sheep fat, symbolizing the sacred ram of Ammonius, the chief deity of southern Egypt. The right side is coated in cow fat, linked to Hathor, the northern goddess of the sun. This dual symbolism reflects Egypt's divided political landscape around 1250 BC, with competing loyalties between the north and south. The mummy's carefully balanced embalming suggests a deliberate attempt to navigate this tension, hinting at his role as a political and religious mediator. The mounting evidence, including the mummy's shaven head, indicative of priestly status, leads to a groundbreaking conclusion. The chemistry, the fine linen, and the distinctive physical features all point to a royal lineage. Given the political and religious intricacies of the embalming process, the team speculates the mummy may have been one of the sons of Ramesses II, who fathered over 100 children. Many of these royal offspring were sent into the priesthood, enjoying powerful and privileged roles in society. Ramesses II's 66-year reign was a period of both monumental achievements and political intrigue. His grand temple complexes, like those at Karnak and the Ramesseum, remain enduring, symbols of his legacy. This mummy, likely a prince and priest, lived during one of the most fascinating and turbulent eras of ancient Egyptian history. Each discovery, his teeth, eyes, embalming materials, and priestly shaven head, pieces together a vivid portrait of a young man who played a key role in the religious and political drama of his time. Within the grand temples of ancient Egypt, the priesthood wielded immense power, influencing every aspect of society. The team has pieced together an extraordinary picture of the mummy's life, but the mystery of how he died remains unsolved. To find answers, they turn to cutting-edge technology, a CT scan. Unlike traditional X-rays, a CT scan creates a 3D image by combining hundreds of cross-sectional images taken from every angle, revealing details invisible to the naked eye. Paleopathologist Don Brothwell hopes this advanced imaging will uncover signs of injury or illness hidden beneath the mummy's wrappings. One critical detail they seek is the embalming incision. Its location and orientation can determine the mummy's era. A vertical incision points to the 19th dynasty during the reign of Ramesses II, while an oblique cut would place the mummy in the earlier 18th dynasty, appending the team's findings. After a meticulous search, they find it a vertical incision, cementing the mummy's connection to the 19th dynasty. However, this discovery still doesn't explain how he died. Further CT scans uncover new revelations. Beneath the wrappings, the team identifies the man's pelvis and remnants of his penis. While the embalmers prepared his body with care, there's no evidence of a scrotum or testicles, raising the possibility of a link to testicular cancer. This absence, paired with signs of emaciation, suggests a wasting disease, potentially cancer, as the cause of death. In ancient Egypt, embalmers often removed cancerous tissue to ensure the deceased entered the afterlife with a perfect body, much like how the mummies of Ramesses II and his son Merneptah also had their testicles removed. The connection to Ramesses II grows stronger as the investigation continues. Facial reconstruction, based on craniofacial measurements, reveals striking similarities between the mummy and other royal mummies. 6 key measurements show an uncanny resemblance to Ramesses II, with 2 deviating slightly, aligning more closely with his father, Seti I. These results suggest the mummy is likely a direct descendant of one of Egypt's most famous pharaohs, a royal son and a high-ranking priest. The embalming materials further emphasize the mummy's importance. Pistachio resin, a rare and expensive substance reserved for royalty, and the dual use of sheep fat and cow fat, symbols of rival deities Ammonius and Hathor. indicate a delicate political and religious balancing act. This young man, perhaps a prince and priest, lived during a turbulent era of Egyptian history, navigating the political and spiritual divisions between the North and South. After weeks of painstaking research, the team has uncovered a remarkable story. This mummy, initially misidentified as female and placed in a mismatched coffin, was a man of immense power and privilege. Yet his life was tragically cut short by a disease that ignored wealth and status, humbling him as it does to humanity even today. The investigation's conclusion is bittersweet. The mummy, once reduced to an anonymous artifact, has regained his identity. He was a living, breathing person, loved and cared for, who shared the same fears, pain, and hope for immortality that we do. His embalmer's work has succeeded in preserving his story for thousands of years, ensuring that his name and legacy endure. In the end, this extraordinary journey reminds us that every mummy is not just an object of curiosity, but a connection to a past humanity that echoes our own. Through science and compassion, this ancient man's life and legacy have been brought back to light, ensuring he will never be forgotten. Mummification in ancient Egypt was more than a scientific endeavor. It was a sacred ritual designed to secure a safe journey into the afterlife with the body preserved for eternity. No other civilization devoted as much time, skill, and expense to this process. Egypt's master embalmers, with their phenomenal expertise, halted the ravages of time on lifeless bodies, ensuring their preservation for millennia. Today, forensic technology unlocks these ancient secrets, revealing intimate details about the lives and deaths of individuals long gone. In a museum in northern England, over 2,000 miles from Egypt, lies the exquisitely crafted coffin of an Egyptian mummy. The workmanship and sophistication of the coffin indicate that it took weeks, perhaps months, to create, suggesting its owner was a person of great importance. Known as the Lady, this mummy's true identity and cause of death are shrouded in mystery. Dr. Joanne Fletcher, a renowned Egyptologist with extensive experience in mummy investigations, has been called in to solve the puzzle. The Lady arrived in England in the early 19th century. Rather than being housed in a major institution like the British Museum, she found her way to a smaller museum in Newcastle. Her coffin, sealed and untouched for centuries, presents a unique challenge. No physical samples can be taken, and the mummy inside cannot be seen. However, conservation efforts 2 years earlier provided a crucial breakthrough: a CT scan of the coffin, offering a full 3D model of the mummy within. CT, computed axial tomography, technology allows the team to peer beneath the wrappings and coffin, creating a detailed virtual reconstruction of the Lady. With this state-of-the-art data, the team, including forensic chemist Dr. Stephen Buckley, Egyptologist Jill Scott, and forensic archaeologist Duncan Lees, begins their investigation. Despite the limitations of not physically accessing the body, they hope to uncover her life story and the circumstances of her death. Jill Scott's research into the museum's records reveals that the coffin dates back to the 21st or 22nd dynasty, around 1070 to 900 BC. The records also provide a name, Bucket Hornet, meaning servant of Horus the Strong. Discovered in a tomb at Gurna, Thebes, this location hints at her connection to one of Egypt's most important cultural and religious centers. Thebes, with its royal necropolis in the Valley of the Kings and monumental temples like the Ramesseum, was the heart of Egyptian religious and political life. Yet, during Bucket Hornet's time, Thebes was under the control of powerful priest-kings, whose influence extended over both spiritual and political realms. The team is captivated by the mysterious smile painted on the coffin, describing it as Mona Lisa-like in its enigma. What secrets lie beneath? To reconstruct her appearance and life, they enlist cranial facial identification expert Steph Davy-Jow. Using CT scan data, Steph creates a virtual 3D model of Bucket Hornet's skull. The process reveals changes caused by mummification. Her jaw rotated open and her nasal bones broken during brain removal. Steph restores these features to their natural positions, offering a glimpse of what Bucket Hornet looked like at the end of her life. As the investigation unfolds, the team's state-of-the-art technology and meticulous research bring this ancient woman's story closer to light. Each discovery reveals not just the secrets of her life, but the culture and society she lived in, a world where religion, politics, and art intertwined, leaving behind mysteries that endure thousands of years later.